Hi YouTube. So this is JJ Gad. I am coming to you to talk to you about changes that you have seen to your favorite social media platform. So I'm not talking about the usual stuff like new tools and features that are coming at you a mile a minute that you can't even keep up with them. I'm not talking about algorithm changements. I'm talking about new alerts and pop-up asking you to verify who you are. And you're wondering what the hell is going on. Essentially, all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google, are preparing to comply with a European Union law called the Digital Services Act. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what does this have to do with me? Because I do not live in the European Union or in the European Union states. But essentially, technically, it's virtually impossible for a platform to have their rules apply just to the citizens of one nation and not to all of them. So everyone gets the benefit, Americans, Africans, South Americans, Asians, to this new law that goes into effect in the fall of 2022. So we'll discuss more about what's in the law and how does it impact you and what does it mean and how are you going to see it and how is it going to affect your life. So before we go forward, I feel like I need to give you a little bit of insight as to why I have authority and credibility to speak on this. Essentially, I have 2 law degrees, one from Georgetown University Law Center, another one from Catholic University. And from Catholic University, I have what's called a certificate in communications law studies. I specialized in media, internet, and tech law while I was in law school. And I practiced at a media law firm for a long time. I practiced before the Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communication Commissions, the 2 federal agencies that would regulate the internet if the United States regulated the internet, which it does not. Anyway, so here we go. And also before we get started, let's talk about the differences between the way the European government or the European Union regulates the internet in the United States. So first, the United States, as I said earlier, the United States doesn't regulate the internet. The United States does what's called a market-based approach. You might have heard things like antitrust and anti-competitiveness. Well, essentially, in this capitalist nation, we let the market decide. So there are a lot of different social media companies, and if you don't like one, you're not wedded. You don't have to stay on YouTube. You don't have to stay on Instagram. You have options. So absent any signs or evidence of a market failure, something that you might see with monopolies like the cable company and the phone company, because there's only one in town, the government doesn't regulate or doesn't tell companies what to do. It's a laissez-faire. Do as you please. Let the market decide. Let the consumers walk if they're not happy. And what does market failure look like? Well, essentially in monopoly situations, a market failure is when they have price gouging, when there's poor customer service, when you don't have a lot of options. And so customers, because there's only one cable company, they have no place else to go. So the government will come in and mandate that the companies only raise the prices on incremental levels after they prove they need to do so, mandate that they have better customer service and more options, things like that. So that's what happens. However, the internet, because it's not regulated, has almost the opposite, which is safe harbor. So internet companies benefit from what's called safe harbor. It's provisions in the law in the United States that says that they are not responsible for the actions of the people. Internet companies bring companies and brands and individuals together to share and exchange ideas, information, resources, and sometimes it's not always a good thing. There's a conflation of like people with mischievous and not good intentions, and also doing fraudulent things, purposely misleading, committing some fraud, bullying, and so they don't want to be responsible for that. So the government in the United States gives them protection so long as they do certain things to safeguard, sort of ward themselves off from that bad behavior. So they don't regulate the internet. So let's talk about what happens with the European Union. They have a different approach where they're more based on privacy and consumer laws. They don't really care about the interests of the company. They're more concerned about the interests and the protection of the citizens of Europe. So even though the law is just for European Union residents and citizens, because it's technically impossible to just have these new laws just apply just to them, everyone benefits. If you manage several Facebook pages, you may have seen Facebook give you an alert asking you to verify that the email attached to your various Facebook pages is actually authorized to run that page, especially for those of you who manage pages that are seen by a lot of people. On Instagram, similarly, if your posts reach a lot of people, Instagram is now going to attach an about section, essentially saying the date that you started Instagram and what nation you're posting from. If you're on YouTube, you might have seen that starting July 29th, I mentioned here in this video, YouTube is no longer allowing you to hide your subscriber number. All of those is because they're trying to quell one way that misinformation spreads, and that people from all over the world crop up immediately and just with the sole purpose of spreading misinformation, and they're usually newer accounts. So all of these are to counter the way that newer accounts are able to use things like hiding your subscriber count to spread misinformation. So that is essentially why you've seen some of these things. There's a business aspect to it, but then also these platforms don't want to be the conduit by which people make bad decisions that impact their lives. So what do you do now? I believe that if you are a member of these social media platforms, to using them for free, to grow your brand, to establish your credibility, to establish some sort of presence, to sell products, services, whatever it is, comply. If there's a pop-up that says verify your email, verify your email. If they're telling you, do not put up resistance, because it's their platform. They can kick you out. It's you or $1.68 billion in fine. And they're going to pick the avoiding the fine over you and your resistance. So believe me, I know right now I'm in the process of trying to get one of my Facebook pages back, and it's a bear of a process. So anyway, that's all it is. That's all I have for you right now. If you want to continue to learn from me, the J Squad, check out jjgat.com, which is the sponsor to this video. I have some resources below in the description box. JJGat is the community that I call here. You do so by hitting that subscription button and that notification bell, so YouTube will let you know when I upload a brand new video. And yeah, let's keep the learning going. Watch this video, which YouTube thinks is going to be good for you, and I'll see you on my next video. Cue my outro music. Oh, and let's discuss below. Boom, 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 boom.